I laughed when he found out the baby wasn't his. Now I'm alone raising a child while he moved on. My name is Olivia, and this is the story of how I tried to play paternity fraud on my husband and lost spectacularly. Let's rewind. I was 25, young, confident, and, dare I say, crafty. I had my husband Daniel wrapped around my finger. He was the definition of husband material, successful, dependable, and madly in love with me. The type of guy who actually texts back within 2 minutes, remembers your coffee order, and plans dates instead of just texting what you doing at 10 p.m. Daniel and I had met in the most unexpected, yet beautiful way. It was during a charity event where I was volunteering, and he was one of the main sponsors. I remember passionately speaking about the cause when I noticed him watching me, not just with interest, but with something deeper, something that made my heart race. Later, he approached me, and what started as a simple conversation over coffee turned into long phone calls, spontaneous dates, and an undeniable connection that only grew stronger with time. He supported my love for storytelling and art, and I admired his adventurous spirit as an entrepreneur. His proposal was nothing short of magical. He recreated the very moment we met, arranging for me to give another speech at the same charity event. As I finished, he walked up to me in front of everyone and got down on one knee. The moment felt surreal. My heart pounded, my breath caught, and before I even realized, I was nodding through tears, whispering a trembling yes as the audience erupted in applause. Our wedding was a dream, an intimate ceremony by the beach, with the golden sunset painting the sky as we exchanged vows. My mother welcomed Daniel with open arms from the very first time they met. She saw the love and sincerity in his eyes, and she trusted that he would cherish me forever. Well, and he did. But as it turns out, having a kid with your ex and lying to your husband about it does tend to get in the way of forever. My ex, Ryan, was the human equivalent of a bad decision wrapped in a leather jacket. He was unpredictable, exciting, and had the emotional availability of a houseplant. But did that stop me? Absolutely not. I hadn't seen Ryan in years, and quite frankly, I hadn't even thought of him, at least not in any way that mattered. But fate, or perhaps the devil with a wicked sense of humor, had other plans. It was at a corporate gala, the kind where people sip champagne and pretend to care about charity. That morning, I had gotten into a fight with Daniel right before he left on a business trip. The fight was about his secretary, who was too familiar with him for my liking, and that he didn't particularly care to tell her off. And now, he would be out of the country with her for 3 weeks. Needless to say, I was in some mood and had drank a bit too much. I was standing by the bar, drowning another glass of mediocre wine, when a familiar voice slithered into my ears like an old melody I had long forgotten. Olivia? Well, well, if it isn't the one that got away. I turned, and there he was, Ryan, looking effortlessly charming, as always, with that smirk that had once made my teenage heart somersault. The years had been kind to him, but his arrogance had only aged like fine wine, stronger, sharper, and with an aftertaste that lingered. Ryan, I said, feigning indifference, I see you're still alive. He chuckled, taking a sip of his drink. And you're still as sharp-tongued as ever. I've missed that. I rolled my eyes, but there was no denying the strange pull of nostalgia wrapping around me. We exchanged pleasantries laced with sarcasm, but beneath the witty jabs was something else, something dangerous. So how's the married life? He asked, tilting his glass towards me. White picket fences, breakfast in bed, all that wholesome bliss? I hesitated, just for a fraction of a second, but it was enough for Ryan to notice. His smirk deepened. Ah, so, not all sunshine and rainbows, huh? Marriage is complicated, I admitted, taking another sip, as if the alcohol could drown the conversation. Complicated, he echoed, stepping just a little closer. That's an interesting choice of words. The air between us thickened, buzzing with an energy that shouldn't have existed. It was reckless, stupid, and entirely avoidable. And yet, when he leaned in just slightly, I didn't step back. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the thrill of something forbidden. Or maybe it was just Ryan, knowing exactly how to play the game we had once started years ago. And just like that, the past wasn't so distant anymore. I woke up in his hotel room, drained and utterly spent, and yet somehow I still had enough energy to go for 2 more rounds in the morning, right before regret came crashing in. Knew I had screwed up, badly. But somehow, I ended up seeing Ryan again and again after that. A few weeks later, I found myself staring at two pink lines on a pregnancy test in the bathroom at work. I was hysterical, frantically trying to calculate the dates. Panic set in as I realized there was a strong possibility that the baby could be Ryan's. I had two choices: confess and face the immediate fallout of my mistake, or stay silent, hope for the best, and pray that everything worked out in my favor. Naturally, I chose the latter. I came home that day and broke the news to Daniel with an elaborate surprise: tiny baby shoes, a handwritten note, the whole 9 yards. His face lit up like a Christmas tree, and for a moment I almost convinced myself that I wasn't lying through my teeth. I cut Ryan off and went full Stepford wife mode. I posted glowing Instagram updates about our perfect little family and even started packing Daniel's lunches with cute handwritten notes. But no matter how much I tried to force the fairy tale, there was one little problem: karma. And being the bitch they say it was not on my side. See, the thing about pregnancy is that it follows a strict schedule, and I wasn't exactly good at math. My due date didn't line up quite the way I wanted it to, and unfortunately, Daniel had a brain, a functioning one. It all came crashing down at my baby shower. Daniel's nosy cousin, who also happened to be a nurse, started asking questions about my conception date. Innocent, casual questions. But when I answered, she did the mental math faster than I ever could and raised an eyebrow. That was the beginning of the end. Daniel went full detective mode, scrolling through old texts, comparing dates, and even analyzing social media posts I thought I had deleted. I tried every trick in the book: tears, gaslighting, even blaming pregnancy brain, but he wasn't buying it. One evening, he uttered the 6 words that sealed my fate: I ordered a prenatal DNA test. I had a full meltdown. I ranted about how he didn't trust me, how he was stressing out a pregnant woman, how I couldn't believe he'd do this to me. I even called his mom, crying about his paranoia. But he wasn't budging. The results came in 2 weeks later. We were standing in the living room when he opened the email. I watched his face turn to horror as he read it. My survival instincts kicked in. My body chose the worst moment to betray me. I let out a laugh. Not a normal "that's funny" kind of laugh. A nervous, hysterical, my life is over laugh. Daniel? He just stared at me, deadpan. You're laughing? You cheat on me, conceive another man's baby, lie to me about it for months, and you are laughing? And that was it. The final nail in my coffin. I tried to backtrack, to explain, to tell him I had convinced myself it was his. But he packed a bag in eerie silence as my pleas fell on deaf ears. We can make this work, Daniel. You already bonded with the baby, I pleaded. He looked at me with the coldest expression I'd ever seen. I bonded with a lie. And with that, he was gone. Ryan, the actual father? When I texted him with the news, he blocked me, ghosted me, immediate radio silence. Classic. The fallout was swift. Daniel told everyone the truth, with receipts. Friends unfollowed me. My own sister needed time to process, and my parents had the kind of disappointment in their eyes that no amount of apologies could fix. Meanwhile, Daniel flourished. He got a new apartment, hit the gym, started posting motivational quotes on Instagram. Me? I moved back in with my parents, clutching single mother pamphlets while my mom sighed audibly in the background. I scrolled through social media, watching Daniel thrive, while my most recent post got 3 likes from spam accounts. That was 10 months ago. My son is 6 months old now, and he looks exactly like Ryan, a daily reminder of my life choices. Every time someone asks about her father, I just say he's not in the picture, which is the understatement of the century. Last week, I saw Daniel's new girlfriend on his Instagram. She's gorgeous, of course, the kind of woman who probably never had to Google how to convince someone they're the father of your baby. Sometimes I think about reaching out, maybe apologizing, maybe trying to explain, but really, what would I even say? Sorry, I tried to trap you into raising another man's child and then laughed in your face when you found out. Yeah, there's no Hallmark card for that one. And so, here I am, alone, raising a baby while the man I took for granted lives his best life. The moral of the story? Sometimes you don't realize you're the villain until it's too late. And trust me, villains don't get happy endings. If you like this story, subscribe for daily stories like this.